And first up in trending this week, we're going to start doing this every week because I think it's important. We have a right-leaning audience, right? I'm right-leaning myself. I've never been shy about that. But what we're going to do is we're going to start doing this segment called Caleb Holds Up the Mirror, right? So I'm going to hold up the mirror to the conservative movement. Maybe not every week, but when we deserve it. And I'm going to talk about some of the stupid shit we've done. So this is a picture that Donald Trump shared on his Truth Social. Go ahead. It's the back of somebody's truck with Joe Biden tied up in the bed of it. Now, it's a bumper sticker. It's a bumper sticker. It's Biden's photoshopped onto someone who's been tied up and put in the back of his truck. Trump shared the picture. Now, I'm not going to lie. It's funny. It's fucking hilarious. It says Trump 2024 right above it. That's funny. I'm not going to lie. That's hilarious. But we have to be a little less tone deaf. We need to be a little bit more tuned in with number one, the way the media portrays us. And number two, the heartbeat of the public. You have got a mainstream media that is dying to paint you as a violent fascist that wants to overthrow our government, Donald Trump. Now, is that funny? Do I think you actually want to do that with Biden? No. That's a funny tweet. I get it. You have to have a little bit more tact than that when there is a concerted effort by a multi-billion-dollar media conglomerate, several, by the White House, by the intelligence agencies, by the tech companies, to paint you as a violent fascist that's trying to destroy our democracy. You need to express a little bit more self-control than to share a picture of your opponent, the current president, tied up in the bed of a truck.
I'm just imagining him laying in bed at 3:00 in the morning, seeing that and thinking it's a good idea to share it.
It's gonna be a banger. It's like stupid shit you tweet, but Trump doesn't drink, so it's like stupid shit. You look back at your Snapchat story the night after you had a binge drinking. You look back at it and you're like, oh God, why did I? How many people saw that? 47. Oh, fuck. Like that's what it's like there. Okay. All right. Next up here, Joe Biden. Mia, do you remember when we were covering the 2022 midterms? Do you remember that in 2022?
Not at all.
So one of the hot button issues in 2022 was gas prices, right? And the Democrats were looking like they were going to see a real bloodbath, to use the word appropriately, in the midterms, because people were frustrated with the economy. Gas prices were out of control, and it was a real bloodbath. We're going to use that word. We need a bloodbath counter on the show here. I got to figure out how to add that to OBS. We'll figure it out. But so Biden, in a last-ditch effort, because he was just desperate, right? He did three things to try to get to win some votes over from some otherwise disillusioned voters. So the first thing he did was he waived $20,000 in federal student loan debt for all borrowers. Well, that went through to the that went into place after the elections, and then the Supreme Court took one look at it and said, yeah, the president doesn't have the power to do that, and they struck it down. Another thing he did was pardon everyone in jail that was sitting in federal prison on simple marijuana possession charges. Well, they did a deep dive into those numbers after the midterms, and turned out that was nobody. Nobody was let go from jail because nobody was sitting in federal prison on the federal charge of simple possession of pot. I don't think the feds are going out arresting people for having a dime bag in their wallet. And then he did one more thing. He realized the gas prices were going to be his downfall in these midterms. So right before the midterms, September, October, he released about half of the strategic oil reserve. Now, the strategic oil reserve is something we have in case there's a global energy crisis, in case all of a sudden we get on bad terms with one of the countries that supplies us with the majority of our oil, kind of like what's happening right now. So we can dip into the strategic oil reserve so that we can still get, food to the grocery stores with trucks, and people can still get to work and whatever they got to do, right? We can still run the country. Well, he depleted that by about half of it, released that out to lower the price of gas temporarily. Gas prices went back up. Actually, right now, they're probably higher than they were during the midterms. But he said he was going to replenish it. He said, this is temporary. We got a plan in place to order the oil back and replenish our strategic oil reserve. By the way, Trump was the one that built it up to the point it was at. I know, crazy how that works. Well, this week, April 3rd, Biden decided he was going to cancel that order. He was going to cancel it. And they're no longer going to replenish the strategic oil reserve. They're done. So the 43% decline that we had, that's the new normal. I know they like to use that word a lot. So if something hits the fan, they already say that if some of these countries pulled the plug and said, we're done, like the Saudi Arabias of the world, pulled the plug and said, we're done giving you oil, we're Team Russia now, which could very well happen in the next year or two. We have enough diesel fuel to get food in the oil reserves, to get food to the stores, and all the groceries and goods where they need to be for 30 days. Then we got nothing. And Joe Biden said, 43% of that's gone, so we're good. We'll just let it happen. We'll let it collapse. We have other things. Ukraine needs that money. We have other things to focus on. So when I tell you that these people are intentionally destroying this country, this is exactly what I'm talking about. These are not the actions of someone that has your best interest at heart or your family's best interest at heart. These are the actions of someone that's trying to implode this nation from within so that it can be rebuilt in their communist utopian mindset. And Donald Trump, far from a perfect person. But what's the saying? He's not the hero we need, but the one we deserve. Something like that. That's kind of what we need. I mean, and I talked about it on the Sunday bonus drop we did this week. Throughout history, the people that have come in and saved the day from otherwise really bad people have all been really, really flawed. Like how Churchill defeated the Nazis. That guy was a drunk. Martin Luther King, adulterer. I don't even want to get started about Mother Teresa, right? I mean, flawed, because we're all humans. We're flawed. So right now we've got an administration that's hijacking the country and driving it off a cliff with what little oil we have left. Unfortunately, the guy that's going to come in and save the day is a vulgar, womanizing real estate broker from New York that used to host a reality TV show. And that's okay. That's okay. But I'm telling you right now, these are not all you have to do is look at what Biden's done. He's completely cut off domestic oil, made us reliant on foreign oil. We were not relying on foreign oil for the first time in the history of this country under Donald Trump for 4 years. Biden came in, reversed all of that, drained the strategic oil reserve to rent a midterm out, promising that he'd replenish it. And then a couple years later, when everyone's forgot about it, says, changed my mind. We're not doing that. These are not the actions. Look closely at what they're doing. These are not the actions of someone that's trying to, as he says, build back better. By the way, it's got to be the most idiotic campaign slogan I've ever heard. How did that work? This guy's got a stutter and can't put a sentence together, and you gave him 3 B words and an alliteration back to back to back? He has to say that? That's just cruel. That's just cruel there.
You must be the one.
It's like, you ever see those late night commercials, Flex Seal? The pitch man for it. His name's Phil Swift, here for Flex Seal, but he's got a lisp. That's just great. Phil Swift here for Flex Seal. Like, why would you give him that job, and why would you apply for that job? All right, next up. Oh boy, what do we got here next up? Let's talk about Angel Reese. Angel Reese is a basketball player for LSU. They were recently defeated in the women's Final Four, the most watched women's basketball game ever against Iowa this last weekend. Yeah, you're not going to believe it. We had 49 viewers on this game. Yeah, I know. Crazy, right? Well, she gave this press conference after the game. Now, mind you, Angel Reese likes to play kind of the Dennis Rodman role. Hey, I'm the hard ass. I'm an asshole on the court. I'm going to play a little dirty, get a little rough, run my mouth, which is fine. I love when basketball players do that. The problem is you don't get to crawl back into your shell and play the innocent victim card the second you lose and anyone criticizes you if you want to do that. That's not the route you get to go. So go ahead and check this video out here of her press conference after they took that big fat L from Iowa.
I just try to stand strong. Like, I've been through so much. I've seen so much. I've been attacked so many times. Death threats. I've been sexualized. I've been threatened. I've been so many things, and I've stood strong every single time. And I just try to...
Death threats.
...stand strong for my teammates because I don't want them to see me down and, like, not be there for them. So I just want to always just know, like, I'm still a human. Like, all this has happened since I won the national championship, and I said the other day, I haven't had peace since then. And it sucks, but I still wouldn't change. I wouldn't change anything, and I would still sit here and say, like, I'm unapologetically me. I'm going to always leave that mark and be who I am and stand on that. And hopefully the little girls that look up to me, and hopefully I give them some type of inspiration that, hopefully it's not this hard and all the things that come at you, but keep being who you are, keep waking up every day, keep being motivated, staying who you are, staying 10 toes, don't back down, and just be confident.
Now, again, I have no problem with basketball players getting a little edgy on the court. I used to play basketball. I had no problem running my mouth, right? It's fun, right? No problem playing a little physical, a little dirty. Now, and she had a good game. It was like 18 points, 20 rebounds. Good game. They lost. Good game, nonetheless. The problem is when you look back at players that have been known as being historically dirty, Bill Laimbeer, Dennis Rodman, Rasheed Wallace, I mean, I'd go on, Kevin Garnett, known for running their mouths, playing a little physical and dirty. Those guys, after they lost, didn't curl up into the fetal position and talk about how they're this horrible victim and everyone's just so unfair and treats them so badly. It's not how it works. You don't get to be a sheep in wolf's clothing. You don't get to be all big and bad on the court when you're winning, but the second you lose, you're a poor, innocent little schoolgirl. You don't get it both ways. You don't get to have your cake and eat it too. Now, the thing that stuck out to a lot of people there was she said she's been sexualized. She said she's been sexualized. We're going to show you some videos and images from her Instagram account and her Twitter account, and I want you to tell us who's sexualizing who. Again, if you've got kids in the room, probably get them out. This is the first video here she posted, and this is going to get progressively worse.
Yo, what is this? It's a poster girl's dress? This should look like an American Girl doll dress. Yo, put it to your body. Put it to your body. What the fuck?
Now, that's not egregious, but you're going to wear skin-tight clothing that shows off your ass and tits like that and flash it on TikTok. Well, that's kind of sexualizing yourself. Here's another one. This is a picture that she posted on her Instagram account. Remember, she's the one being sexualized. She's not doing it to herself. That's it. And now the common Twitter thread is the Twitter gaslighting that you're seeing from liberals with this picture is, you really think a girl in a swimsuit is sexualized? You got to, you need to get your brain checked out. But go back to pull the picture back up. It's not the fact that she's in a swimsuit. If she was just in a swimsuit at the lake or the pool, no one would think anything of it. No, her being in a swimsuit is not why this image is sexual. Her flashing her nipple and grabbing her titty is what makes this image sexual. That's how this image is sexualized. Do you agree? You're a female. You're a woman.
I agree. And I also agree that the
romper? or whatever the hell that is.
Yeah, I agree that the clothing before was terrible.
Well,
Like
You're
it's no, I mean,
hold on. Let me see the mouse real quick. I got to hit you with a sound effect. It's my turn. You think the clothing wasn't good? You know why?
And you ain't black.
well, no, because she's definitely sexualizing herself.
100%.
Yeah, by doing that. And there's people that are going to say, "Oh no, she's just dressing the way she wants,"
Which
blah,
is
blah,
fine.
blah.
Dress however you want, but if you're going to, it's just like the girls that wear basically underwear to the gym and then record themselves working out, and when anyone glances their way, they paint them as this horrible pervert.
Mm-hmm.
You're clearly trying to attract attention to yourself when you dress that way.
Yeah, with everything out and
Yeah.
showing, and
Yeah.
what you wear and put out on the internet.
Exactly.
Like, that's your own fault. I'm sorry.
Exactly. Well, there's one more video, and if you didn't think the last two were sexualized, well, here you go. This one's for you guys. Again, warning, get your kids out of the room.
Oh my God. Let me see.
Yep, that's what you think it is. That is a... What is... I mean, it's a vagina, but what are they doing? That's a waxing, and they molded her vagina and then posted the pictures to Instagram.
No, they didn't mold it.
Or is
So when you get
Yeah, I've never had a
wax,
wax, so educate me
When
here.
you get a wax, they put the wax over.
You guys should see the way she's looking at me right now.
They put the wax over it,
Mhm.
and then they get like a little thing, and then peel it off, so it would come off in that shape.
So that's what that was.
That's
it was
what
the
that
shape
was.
of her vagina.
Yeah, it was the shape of it. It wasn't a mold of it. So that's the shape.
But it's us
Of
that's
it.
sexualizing her.
Yeah, because she's showing her strip from the bikini wax. Like, that's...
Classy.
Why would you want to show that?
Classy.
That is disgusting.
Yeah. Yeah. So is it white for white women when they do that, or is that the color?
No, you mean the blue
The
thing that
they-
was? No, that's just the color of the wax.
Okay. I
Yeah.
didn't know if they were making like a replica.
No, they weren't making any type of replica. That's just the shape of the hair, because it's the shape of yeah.
Yeah, again, here's my thing with this whole thing. I don't care if you run your mouth. I don't care if you want to be a dirty player. Like that's all fine. Do your thing, right? But when you act that way, and that's what we've the problem with how we've failed to raise this upcoming generation of kids is we've told them that, hey, you can act like a fool and then there won't be any consequences to it because mom and dad are going to swoop in to save the day, right? You know, it goes back to like looking at teachers and stuff like that, where if the kid gets back when we were in school, if we got in trouble at school, we were in more trouble at home. Now it's shifted from the parents and the teachers against the kids to the kids and the parents against the teachers. How dare you get my precious little angel in trouble? What did he do? That's what we've raised these kids to believe, that any type of criticism against you is wrong, that you can do whatever you want and act the way you want and say what you want and treat people however you want, be violent, physical, whatever, and there won't be any consequences. And anyone who dares to criticize you is actually the bad guy. That's where we fucked up. And that's a symptom of a societal problem, is how many people are defending her for thinking she can have it both ways. It's not, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. And your badass, reputation is getting flushed down the drain with it. Okay, next up, we covered it on the midweek check-in. Nebraska was talking about passing a law that would get rid of that would make it so that we no longer divvy up our electoral votes by congressional districts, and we would switch to a winner-take-all system like 48 other states plus D.C. have. Maine's the only other one that does it the same way we do. Well, that didn't pass, but that didn't stop MSNBC from having an absolute meltdown about it on their show. Go ahead, pull this video up here. Next one. No, go down a little bit. Sorry, I fucked up. Down even further. Keep going. There it is, under Nebraska. There it is.
Governor
That's
there
my bad.
has thrown his support behind an effort that would no longer allocate the electoral votes by congressional district. Because right now, it's 5 votes there. Technically, Republicans get 4, and President Biden, Democrats get the 1 from Omaha.
That's right.
If that changes, and we don't know that it will, the state legislature is going to look at it. But if that changes, that takes away Biden's best path to win. Because if he wins Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Michigan, but loses the other swing states and no longer picks up the 1 in Nebraska, 269. That leads playbook this morning, the alarm among Democrats that this is possible. What do you think?
I think this is what the modern Republican Party has become. They're now changing the rules in the middle, trying to benefit themselves. This is the hell that Donald Trump hath wrought. In the middle of this, changing the rules 200 days before the election is ridiculous. I think you're right. I think there are real simulation problems. When you look at the map, that one electoral vote really matters in the combination of other things. Then you need another state.
Yeah.
And so.
Did he just say, a commentator for MSNBC, the mouthpiece of the Democratic Party, did he just say, changing the rules right before the election is ridiculous? Do I need to remind anyone of the mail-in ballot situation in 2020? Changing the rules of the election is ridiculous. This comment brought to you by the people that changed the rules of the last 2 elections. Nobody sees a problem with that. Nobody sees a problem. I love how they're crying foul about how you're just changing the rules now. Changing the rules to make it. It's not like Nebraska was trying to do anything unprecedented. Actually, the current system is, you could make the argument that it's unprecedented. Nebraska was trying to change the rules to make it like the other 48 states. Again, I'm yet to see any of these people that are upset about Nebraska trying to go to a winner-take-all system complain about people in upstate New York and more conservative areas of California and Illinois that have had their votes silenced. I haven't seen anyone talk about voter suppression for the upstate congressional district, for the red congressional districts in dark blue states. No one's talked about that. It's only when it benefits the left. Okay, next up. Scroll down. I want to see what order I got this in. Oh, here we go. Yes.
Chicken.
This is a chicken restaurant in, I believe, West Virginia. Randy Moss, former NFL greatest wide receiver of all time, mind you. What are you dancing for, Randy Moss? What? Do you know who that is?
No.
He's one of the greatest wide receiver of all time, teamed up with Tom Brady. Randy Moss is a part owner of this. He has nothing to do with any of this. I just think it's cool to talk about him because it's a throwback to my childhood. But this guy, this restaurant's not doing too well. It's a fast food joint. And the manager tried some unorthodox methods to drum up a little bit of business for his failing restaurant. Go ahead and see what that was.
What was supposed to be a positive development in the heart of Huntington has turned into controversy after accusations of racism and discrimination went viral on social media.
We're talking about Crispy's Chicken. It's the restaurant owned by NFL Hall of Famer Randy Moss. But as 13 News reporter Jordan Meade tells us, the manager of the restaurant says the community isn't supporting the business, and he claims it has nothing to do with the food.
The original video.
Great energy, great food. You know, Randy Moss took his time out, invested his money.
That sparked it all.
But since we've been here for the past few months, it has been nothing but negativity from the community not supporting.
That's the manager of Crispy's Chicken, a fast food restaurant in Huntington. In the video posted just last week, he lashes out at the community, saying their criticism goes beyond the food and service.
The entire community is filled with negativity. Being an African-American company, this is what we deal with on a regular basis. Unfortunate, we're not the other color, which is unfortunate to you guys, because if we were the other color, I'm sure it would get a lot more respect.
After the backlash from his post, the manager, who would only tell us his first name, called out a local host of a podcast to do an interview.
We try to be positive and have a positive effect on the community, but it just wasn't having it.
But from that interview came more controversy.
What did our community do? They tore us down, like they always do. The African-American community, we are known to tear each other down. The Chinese is not known for it. The Europeans, nobody else is known for.
That's something that Talk Huntington host David Williams, who goes by the on-air name of Alligator Jackson, says he tried to de-escalate while addressing complaints. 13 News spoke to Kurt today. He doubled down on his statements.
Anybody that misunderstood what I said on that video, you have to think. It was clear as day what I said. It was clear. It was clear that that's what African Americans been going through for centuries. It's clear. But you know what these people did on that post? They took it and made it a race thing. That's what they did. They made it a black and white thing. And for me, if you feel like it was a race thing, then in my opinion, it hits your heart. So maybe it is a little bit of racism within yourself. Mm-hmm. Because if it touched you that much, that must be you.
So, those of you that are looking into becoming entrepreneurs, I have good news for you. I'm going to save you $30,000 on a business degree. All you have to do is listen to that guy right there. When your business
and not be black.
What's that?
Not be black.
Yeah. No, when your business is failing, you don't look for new ways to engage with the community. You don't mix up your marketing, maybe change some of the recipes up. No, you go on multiple media tirades and accuse your customers of racism. Gaslight and manipulate the community into eating at your restaurant by calling them racist. And then don't just stop there. Don't just stop there. Also turn around and accuse the black members of your community of trying to tear another black man down. Has this guy considered that maybe the black and white communities of Huntington, West Virginia are not out to get him, and he might be the problem? Has he taken the time to consider that maybe it's not dual racism from white people and black people against him, internalized racism from black people and externalized racism from white people? Maybe the food's just not that good.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Maybe it's just shitty food.
Like, to go... first off, I have a lot of respect for Randy Moss. I can't imagine he is thrilled to find out that the manager of his restaurant is going on Facebook tirades accusing his customers of racism. I can't imagine. And that not only that, but you post the rant. Okay, we all make mistakes. We all post dumb things like that guy that was, sweating and screaming into the camera about Trump. We all do dumb things, right? I get it. It happens. But to go on a podcast and turn it into it where you're not the owner. You're the manager. You're representing your business. You're representing the owner of the franchise owner of your business. To go on a podcast and turn it into a screaming match where you double down and say that it's just black people with internalized racism that are intentionally destroying your business. What did you think was going to happen? And then when the news comes and says, hey, what do you have to say about all this? You triple down. And you get even angrier. What do you think is happening? I looked at the Google reviews. I was wanting to see if there was any fireworks on there. But, yeah, here's what, not good in comparison. Food and service were bad. My guess is poor management. And then the manager replies, what's better then? The guy goes, Raising Cane's, Church's Chicken, hell, even Popeyes. He goes, you're delusional. You're just mad. Okay. All right, that's enough. We'll stop giving. And then the Google reviews are like 3 stars, right? So we're going to stop giving these clowns attention. All right, next up here. We have got, this is the St. Patrick's Cathedral Catholic Church on Easter Sunday. They got some unexpected visitors. Go ahead, play the video. The Watermelon Crew showed up at the middle of the church service on Easter. All right, that's enough. Easter Sunday. What's so funny?
I was just looking at that altar server in the background, and I'm just like imagining them in their situation as a former altar server, and I'm just like, they're stressed out right now.
Well, he's an altar boy. He's seen much worse. So here's the thing with this. We talked about how, Christians, the White House has basically declared open season on Christians. It's their rhetoric has allowed this to happen. So people show up with a Free Palestine banner on Easter Sunday, the holiest of all days, to protest in the middle of a Catholic church service. Again, Christians are the only group that people get away with doing this to because we're the only group that puts up with this. I'm not saying we need to be violent toward random people and harass people. I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying is the precedent needs to be set. Hey, you show up in the middle of church service and you disrupt it with your Free Palestine bullshit or whatever, we're not just going to kick you out. We're going to take you out back. We're going to beat the shit out of you, and we're going to leave you bloody and beaten in the streets. That needs to be the precedent from here on out. We're fighting back. We're done getting fucked with. We're done getting bullied. You pull that shit here, you're going to get the shit beat out of you, and we're not calling an ambulance. We're just going to leave you there. That's got to be what we do. That's got to be what we do. They say, well, what would Jesus do? I don't know. The guy that flipped over tables when they were bastardizing the church, that Jesus? Something like that. Also, I love it when these disingenuous atheists, they're like, well, that's very Christian of you whenever I get snarky about something. Shut up. Stop talking about something you don't know about. Don't tell me how to be Christian. You don't know the first thing about it. I don't tell you how to be unattractive, fat, broke, and uninteresting. Don't tell me how to be a Christian. That's all I'm going to say. And if you need further proof, check out this video from Tennessee. This also happened on Easter Sunday, right outside of a church. Go ahead and check out the news report on this.
Bibles was set on fire this morning in front of a controversial church. Wilson County deputies were called out to the intersection of Old Lebanon Dirt Road and Chandler Road. Mount Juliet police and firefighters also came. After the fire was put out, deputies discovered the trailer had Bibles inside. They believe the trailer was dropped off in the middle of the intersection and intentionally set on fire.
You know, we've had people do things to our building. We've been vandalized a number of times, hence we have to have security, but never a Bible trailer, 200 Bibles being burned. That's a pretty rebellious statement, towards a church. But again, we're just going to keep moving forward.
Anyone with information or additional camera footage of the incident is asked to contact the Wilson County Sheriff's Office.
Yeah, so there you have it. So that all happened on the same day, by the way, that the Biden administration decided to declare Trans Day of Visibility and then double down on it when they got called out. So I've talked about this enough over the last week. I don't want to beat the dead horse anymore, but know when I say that there is a systematic war against Christians and Catholics in this country by the regime, by the establishment, I'm not just pulling shit out of my ass. It's happening all over the place. Again, you bet your ass if they burned a bunch of Qurans or Qurans outside of a mosque on Ramadan, guarantee you the feds are investigating a hate crime. But because it's a Christian church, what'll they do? Local sheriff will look into it. Video footage shows an out-of-state plate. Nothing's going to happen. That'll be a dead-end cold case. It'll be over. Because we have set the precedent that it's okay to bully us and push us around. And it's time to start getting active. It is. It's time to start getting more in people's face about this stuff. Don't harass anybody, don't hurt anybody, but it's time to stop backing down. It's time to start actually standing for something. No, Jesus wouldn't want you to be an asshole, but he also wouldn't want you to just get bullied around. So keep that in mind. All right, next up, speaking of all the trans stuff, I've tracked down the founder of the Trans Day of Visibility. Go ahead and pull.
The founder?
The person that invented this day. Yep, go ahead, scroll down. This is Rachel Crandall Crocker. Now, here is Mr. Crandall next to the Penguin from the Batman movies. And I'm telling you, you can't tell the difference. Now, we got some videos of this creature. Go ahead and play the first one here.
Hi there. Hi, I'm Rachel Crandall Crocker, and I'm Executive Director of Transgender Michigan, and I am founder and organizer
Gonna
of
see
the
this in your
International
nightmares tonight.
Transgender Day of Visibility. And I want to share with you how that all happened. I couldn't, and this was 20 years ago, I could not find a job. I ended up going in business of myself.
You thought that girl in the
If
first segment
anyone
was
is
bad.
looking
Taking a
for
long time to get to the point.
The best therapist ever, and willing to come all the way down to the Detroit area, I will give you my card.
Could you imagine that guy as a therapist? Imagine that guy's your therapist, and it's like, hey, sorry, our hour-long session is over. What are you talking about? You only said 6 words. Sorry, I got to bill you for the full session here. They wouldn't be able to say that much that quickly. You know, here's how you know God has a sense of humor, right? This guy is the founder of the Transgender Day of Visibility. He's got a stutter that makes it damn near impossible for him to say any word that starts with a letter T. That's how you know God's got a sense of humor and ain't on board with this shit.
I'm a man!
Then another video of Mr. Crandall down here. Go ahead and play this video here.
I tried to come out to my parents when I was 8 years old, okay? And that was in 1967. Let's just say it didn't go well.
No. Telling your parents you were a different gender at 8 years old in 1967 didn't... Who would have thought? I wouldn't have thought that. You know where he should have done it was in, Joe Biden's Scranton, Pennsylvania, where you just had gay men walking to work together holding hands back in the 50s. That's where he fucked up. He should have done it there. I mean, look, I don't want to make fun of someone with a stutter or anything like that, but you put yourself out. No, I'm kidding. Yes, I do. You put yourself out that this is a person that's influential. Barack Obama in 2009 listened to this person and said, okay, we're gonna start this Trans Day of Visibility thing back in 2009. So Barack Obama, the president of the United States at the time, heard. So this isn't just some schmo on the internet that we're making fun of. This is a real influential person that's caused actual policy and culture change. You're fair game, sweetheart. The word sweetheart isn't appropriate for that guy. I can't do it. It's fair game to make fun of you. I don't know who can sit there and have a conversation with somebody like that and think, this is a rational person that I think we should base some policy around here. Doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, we got this next one up here. We're probably not going to be able to get to everything today. We'll get to more stuff on the midweek show. But this next one down here is an FBI raid. This is the FBI showed up at this woman's house because she posted some memes about Joe Biden. Go ahead, check this out.
Can we just move in front of the house so the dogs don't go crazy?
Sure we can, yeah.
I need you to identify yourself and let me take imagery of your IDs.
I'm not going to share my credentials on the phone.
That's illegal.
So you said you were with the FBI? That's correct. And why won't you show me your credentials?
We did. I showed you my
I didn't take a look at them. I said, 1 second, I'll be right back. Are you going to show me your credentials or no?
Yeah, we did already. So, and we identified ourselves. So what we'd like to do...
I didn't look at your credentials. Again, I didn't verify them. I told you to wait, and I went inside.
Okay, that's correct. What we'd like to do is just have a conversation with you about some social media posts that you've made. Would you be willing to talk to us today about that?
No, I would not. I would like you to later talk on with my lawyer.
Okay.
Do you have identification
Do you have a card or something
cards?
for your attorney that we could reach out
No.
to?
No. I'll get back to you.
Okay. All right.
Do you mind having your attorney contact the FBI office in Oklahoma City?
What's the number? What are the names of the agents?
I'll Google it for you.
How do you not know your own?
So you're
Do they not
refusing
have
to identify
cards?
yourselves.
No, we've already identified them.
Again, I did not take a look.
Okay, so the phone number for the FBI in Oklahoma City is 405-290-7770.
Okay.
If you just call and give them the name, then we'll be able to get you in contact with us and we'll be happy to speak with you.
And tell him that Facebook flagged me for posts.
Facebook gave us a couple screenshots of your accounts.
Okay. So we no longer live in a free country and we can't say what we want?
No, we totally do. That's why we're not here to arrest you or anything like that. We just
Well,
want
you
to
can't
discuss-
arrest
just
me
here to
for
threaten
freedom
you.
of speech. We live in America.
Correct.
Exactly. So it's kind of weird that you want to come talk to me about me exercising my freedom of speech.
We do this every day, all day long.
Oh, that's good to know.
Okay.
It's just an effort to keep everybody safe, make sure that nobody has any ill will or bad intent or anything like that. And we've got no reason to believe necessarily that that's you, and that's why we just wanted to have a conversation.
So do you have a conversation with everybody on the neighborhood?
Do you have information that anybody else in the neighborhood is...
I mean, all I've done is exercise my right as an American citizen on a public social media platform with my personal opinions. Correct? Okay. Most of the individuals,
All right,
right,
that's
in
enough.
America, especially...
So here's the problem with that. They admit they weren't there to make an arrest. They don't think she's even up to anything bad. That was nothing more than a shakedown. That's the mob coming to your house and saying, real nice place you got here. It'd be a shame if something happened to it. That's what that was right there. That's the FBI acting as Joe Biden's personal Gestapo. And you see this in Australia. You saw this in Australia and Canada during the COVID protests. That's the FBI acting as Joe Biden's personal Gestapo, going around terrorizing anyone that's critical of him. When do you think we're going to get the knock on the door? Do you think we'll get a knock on the door from the FBI?
That just made me nervous.
I'm telling you right now, I'm slamming the door in their fucking face. We have nothing to say to those people, and they don't come into our house, period. They can sit outside and die in the cold for all I care. They don't come into my house.
I like how they had like the good cop, bad cop thing going on. Like the guy that was doing all the talking, he was very like cool, calm, collected, like very easy to talk to. And then you had those other two on the side that were like just very stern.
But that's part of the gaslighting. They shouldn't even have been there. But they're going down there. He's like, I'm on your side. I don't necessarily have any reason to believe you're up to anything bad. I just want to make sure you're safe. No, you're not doing it for my own good. You're doing it to be a fucking tyrant. The FBI is a terrorist organization that should be abolished. Okay. All right, we got to go quick here because I got a lot of stuff I want to cover in a little bit of time. Okay, J.K. Rowling is back in the news again. J.K. Rowling, our favorite transphobe. She's the transphobe of the year. I love it. Her and Matt Walsh go back to back. It's like Magic Johnson and Larry Bird competing for championships. So this is from MSNBC. When Scotland's new hate crime law went into effect Monday, among its loudest critics was author J.K. Rowling, and took it upon herself to publicly challenge the law by deliberately misgendering transgender women and daring the police to arrest her. Rowling posted a thread on X about 10 trans women who she called men and grouped activists and a broadcaster together with a convicted rapist and sexual offender in an apparent attempt to draw a connection between trans people and sexual perversion. She criticized the new law, claiming the legislation is wide open to abuse by activists who want to silence people like her from speaking out about the reality and immutability of biological sex. So they have decided they will not press charges on her. Here's my problem with this, though. They're not going to press charges on J.K. Rowling because she's a famous, wealthy, and influential figure. The problem is anyone else that decides to make any offensive jokes or dare not call the Penguin from Batman, whatever gender she decided to go, wants to be this week. Those people don't have the resources, they don't have the influence, they don't have the time, and they don't have the money to defend themselves. So they'll go after it. That's what it's just like with the cancel culture thing with comedians. No one's saying that they're going to derail Dave Chappelle and destroy his career. That guy's got a career. The problem is they're hijacking the careers of everyone that's next to come. That's the issue with it. So with all the peons are the ones that get trampled on. Dave Chappelle's fine. The guy that works at State Farm that shared a meme you don't like, and you called his job and got him fired, and now he can't pay for he can't support his family anymore. That guy's screwed. That's what the problem with cancel culture is. That's the problem with laws like this. They won't go after J.K. Rowling, but they will terrorize the guy making $40,000 a year that shared a meme they don't like. And it'll be much worse than the FBI showing up at your house knocking on your door. They'll actually take you away in chains. Next up, Donald Trump got an extended gag order. We don't talk about a lot of Trump's courtroom drama, but here's my problem with this. They keep hitting Donald Trump with gag orders. The problem is the people that are testifying against him, the so-called victims in these cases, right? They're allowed to do the full press tour. They get all the First Amendment rights that the rest of us supposedly have. They do the press tour, and they attack him on CNN and MSNBC, and they can do all that. But the judge steps in and says he's not allowed to defend himself. Now, if he were just a reality TV host, that would be one thing. It'd still be a problem, but it wouldn't be as egregious. They know what this is, though. They know that the top the top competitor to their power structure, Donald Trump, to Joe Biden's presidency, they know that silencing him and making him unable to defend himself, and basically, because we always say this is the court of public opinion, right? Well, he's not able to defend himself in the court of public opinion now. So this has become the grand jury of public opinion, where only the accusers get to speak. Only the prosecution gets to testify. And if he talks, he goes to jail for violating his gag order. So this has become the grand jury of public opinion, where he's not allowed to defend himself. And as we all know, a grand jury would indict a ham sandwich. That's the same. It's not hard to do. So now he's not allowed to defend himself, and they're allowed to railroad him and destroy his campaign in the public sphere. And if he dares to fight back, he goes to jail. But there's no conspiracy, right? There's no conspiracy against Donald Trump. Okay, next up, we got Bill Maher reached out to Steve-O, formerly from Jackass. Go ahead and play the video here. Bill Maher reached out to Steve-O from Jackass and asked him to do the show. And Steve-O had one request. Bill Maher refused to do it, and we'll react to it after the video.
I just wanted to say something that I watched a piece of your appearance on Bill Maher's show.
Yeah.
And I found the way he spoke to you to be rather insulting. I don't need you to respond to that. It's more of a comment than a question. Are you a guy who enjoys smoking marijuana or breathing in marijuana?
Marijuana is very good for me, but I don't smoke weed. Every time I've enjoyed it, but man, I haven't done that for God knows. Mid to late 20s last time, so mid 20s. Yeah.
I bring that up because for me, I'm a clean and sober guy. Like, it's very important that I maintain my sobriety.
How long have you been?
Approaching 16 years.
Get out of here.
Yes.
I knew you had. I didn't know it was 16 years.
I'm about to be sweet 16.
Good for you, bro.
Coming up on
Congratulations.
It. Thank you very much. And there's nothing, like really, there's nothing that I value more than my sobriety. There's nothing more that I protect than my recovery. And I found it kind of upsetting when the Bill Maher podcast, which I saw you on, reached out, and they his thing is he smokes pot the whole time while he interviews people, and I said, hey, I'd happily go on there, but could he, while I'm on, out of respect for my sobriety, could he refrain from smoking pot?
He said no.
He said no. That's a deal breaker.
Wow.
And Mike Tyson's podcast is called Hotboxing. Like the whole point, like, be real. All of these prolific potheads, I've been on their shows, and it wasn't so important to them to blow marijuana smoke in my face.
I did not know that.
For Bill Maher, it was a deal breaker, and I found, and maybe that's why, whatever. You kind of see through the lens.
Okay, that's enough.
So I watched you and the way you spoke to it. I could probably see him say the most.
So here's the thing with this. I see both sides of it. That's how Bill Maher wants to conduct his interviews. I have ways I want to conduct my interviews. I get it. Here's my problem. If you reached out to somebody, you are a grown man. You reached out to somebody. He didn't reach out to you. You reached out to somebody and said, hey, I want to get you on my show. I value your contributions to media and culture. I want to get you on my show and talk to you about your career and your life. And that guy says, that's cool with me, but I'm sober and I would just prefer you don't smoke pot around me. I mean, it's your house. It's your show. If that's a deal breaker for you and you feel like you need to be high to interview people, I guess that's your thing. But at the same time, if you need to get high, if you can't put the joint down for an hour and talk to somebody sober, you might have a little bit of a problem. And that's with any substance. I mean, I know everyone likes to say, oh, weed's not addictive. That's bullshit. You know who tells me weed's not addictive? People I know that would limit their job search to jobs that didn't drug test because they couldn't stay off of it for 30 days to better their situation and their family situation. That's who tells me weed's not addictive. So I don't believe that. I don't believe that weed's... Now, I'm not saying it's heroin or meth or reefer madness or anything like that, but I don't believe that weed's not addictive when I see NFL players who are told to... Mia, hit him with the...
Stay off the weed!
To preserve their multi-million-dollar contracts to play the game that they love instead of going and getting a real job. When I see them flush their careers down the toilet because they keep getting high and keep smoking weed, it's hard for me to believe that it's not addictive. Okay, next up, we got the California minimum wage hike. We've seen layoffs. Fast food restaurants have driven their prices up as it went from $16 to $20 per hour. That is a 25% increase in the minimum wage. Guess who, though? Here, every other podcast is talking about this till they're blue in the face. We're not a business or economics podcast, but guess who is exempt to that rule, Mia? Panera.
Panera?
Panera.
Why?
Well, do you want the official story or do you want the real reason?
Because they are not technically fast food?
Nope. No, this isn't just fast food. This is minimum wage throughout the state.
Oh.
But they've given an exception to Panera because they said they mix the dough for the bread off-site. Or they make the bread because they make their own bread now. Panera, that's the official reasoning. Panera happens to be one of the top donors for Gavin Newsom, the governor's campaign. So you can believe whatever you'd like here. I tend to go with the corruption element of it because I don't trust Gavin Newsom as far as I could throw him, and I'd really like to throw him. So the top donors, I mean, we've seen this the Newsom double standard time and time again. This guy shut the state down, arrested people for going to church, for going to AA meetings, for getting their hair done, for walking on the beach. Meanwhile, he throws an indoor maskless party, way more than 10 people there, by the way, during the heart of COVID, at his winery. That's how you know this guy's a pretentious prick. He comes from a family that owns a bunch of wineries. At his winery in California. And then when people caught it on video and said, hey, look at this, you hypocrite, look what you're doing, he said, even though he's on video, it's clearly inside his house, he goes, oh, no. You're misunderstanding. That was outside. That's what they do. They gaslight and they lie because they can't win any other way other than cheating, lying, and gaslighting. We're not going to have time to get to all of this. Mia, tell me what you want me to talk about. All right, I'm going to give you a couple stories. You pick. Okay? Will you pick one of them? All right. One story.
Okay.
Okay. The rest are going to have to get covered in the midweek check-in. Okay, do you want to hear about a bird flu case in Texas that transmitted to humans? Do you want to hear about migrant home invaders? Do you want to hear about how woke people are more likely to be mentally ill, or do you want to break down my new the new Reddit page I found?
The new Reddit page.
Reddit? Okay. Well, I stumbled upon this one thanks to the great Twitter account Reddit Lies, where they come up with just some of the most ridiculous Reddit posts out there. This is a new one, though. This is r/dog-free. Now, they've got fuck cars, they've got child-free, people that hate cars, people that hate kids. Now we have
Wait,
one.
there's people that hate cars?
Yes, there's an entire... We'll go down that one a different time. We should just do a segment where we go down unhinged Reddit pages. Yeah, they hate cars, they hate kids. Now we've got one that hates dogs. So we can just go down the list here. These people... Redditors are very much defined by the things they hate. Moments big and small ruined by dogs. I'm just looking at some of the posts on here. I can't understand it. I want to get my frustration about problematic dog owners off my chest here. I wouldn't go as far to call myself a dog hater, but I'm not fond of them. You're on a Reddit page dedicated to bashing dogs. It's safe to say you are a hater, right? Where was the other? There was another one that was great.
How could you hate something just like so sweet and innocent?
You ever seen a pit bull? Says Chicago veterinarian dog show judge charged with child porn. FBI says he boasted of drugging and abusing multiple kids. Can someone tell me how that's the dog's fault? How is that the dog's fault that the vet was a pedophile?
The dog was in on it.
How is that the dog's fault? And then, of course, the snarky comments are in there. Oh, dogs can sense bad people. No, they can't. They can sense food. First off, dogs absolutely can sense bad people. Absolutely. Dogs can sense bad people. My dog had never been mean to anyone in her life, tried to chew a guy's face off at an apartment complex I was living at. Turns out that guy was stalking one of the girls that lived on the floor above me. I wound up politically, I had to pull a weapon on this guy and politically get him out of the building for him to go away. And my dog was going to politically bite his dick off. She had never escalated things with anyone before, just so happened to know this guy was a scumbag. That's not going. Dogs absolutely no, and not all of them. Some dogs are retarded, like they are. Some dogs are stupid.
Some dogs just think everyone is evil.
Some dogs think everyone's evil. Some dogs think everyone's their friend. But plenty of dogs absolutely have a sixth sense. I believe humans have a sixth sense, and some of us are still in tune with it much more so than others. But I believe humans have a sixth sense that we left behind as we became more industrialized, and dogs still have it. I was in a car accident years ago. I was out on the road for comedy. My dog was staying with my mom. And my dog, who otherwise sleeps through the night, I'm talking, per my mom's account of events, the moment my car was hit, based on when I made phone calls out after I had made sure everyone was okay and politically threatened to beat the kid up that hit me. I'm talking within a moment after what time my car would have been hit. My dog jumped out of bed for no reason. There was no noise, nothing like that. Jumped out of my mom's bed. Started pacing around the house, panting and whining. You're going to tell me that's a coincidence. Do I have proof? Of course not. But there are people absolutely have a different type of connection with an animal, and they absolutely have a sense that we've left behind since we've become more industrialized as a country. Or just as a species, I guess. So I find it very, very odd. I mean, listen, man, if you don't like dogs or kids, or cars, or anything, why do you need to dedicate so much time to bashing? Don't you think there's a more productive use of your time than typing away to people on Reddit about dogs, cars, and kids? The way people care about dogs more than humans is out of control. I just watched a TikTok. Oh, this isn't the one I was looking for. There was a better one on here. There's a better one. We're going to find it here. We're gonna find it here. Let me find
Is
it.
that about the TikTok of the dog who peed at Trader Joe's?
What's that?
I said, was that about the TikTok of the dog who peed at Trader Joe's?
No, I didn't know. Now, I will admit, there are some dog owners, just like there are parents, that are very, very obnoxious. Your dog does not need to go everywhere with you. When you go to people's houses, you don't need to bring it over with you. You don't. You do not need to bring... Oh, here's one that says dogs with human names. Now I feel attacked. You do not need to take your dog everywhere you go. You don't. That's not a thing. You don't need to bring it over to everyone. If they say, yeah, bring your dog over, that's fine. But there are people that are attached, and that's another thing I've talked about, is your dog is a reflection of you. So I see all this new trend of people saying their dog has anxiety. No, you're a basket case. You're a basket case. Your dog does not have anxiety. You do. It's copying what it sees. Dogs have no jobs, no bills, no responsibilities. Nothing. There is nothing that should stress your dog out in its day-to-day life that makes it so timid and anxious all the time.
No
it is
comment.
reflecting your behavior. Period. Its owner is the problem.
Period.
You know, we talk about the trans kids and how it's only been a thing for 10 years. Dogs with anxiety's only been a thing for 10 years. You all did this. It's just like a 5-year-old should not have anxiety. They have no responsibilities, nothing. 5-year-olds with anxiety has only been a thing for a couple years now. Dogs with anxiety, only been a thing for a couple years. You people did this to them. You ruined your children. You ruined your dogs.
Dogs that think they're chihuahuas.
Dogs that people think are chihuahuas. You have done this to yourselves. Now you get to lie in your bed and live with the consequences. Your bed that your dog's probably pissed all over because it's got such bad anxiety. I mean, it's true. Here's one. Dogs are valued above humans, and we'll end it on this. Dogs are valued above humans. I just realized that if you publicly defecate, urinate, or scream at the top of your lungs at people while trying to bite parts of their body, you will be considered crazy, fined, and arrested. You got that right. Yes, if you publicly defecate or urinate, you will get in trouble. I don't know, is this person, like, does he want the ability to shit and piss in public? But dogs, it says, but dogs are allowed to do this to anyone and anywhere, and it's okay. He is so cute. He's a good boy. No, I don't. If your dog is freaking out on someone in public, that's like the equivalent of your baby crying at a restaurant. You're embarrassed. You want to get out of there. You're not going to talk about how cute it is. You want to be gone. You want it to stop immediately. As a matter of fact, dogs have so much rights that they can bark and intimidate humans, but if humans do it to dogs, we will be charged with animal cruelty.
What?
So if you bark back, I don't bark back better. I don't think that's how it works. So this is the fucking freedom-loving world that we live in. This guy's just, you can just slamming his hand on the keyboard as he's typing this. He's having a stroke, an aneurysm as he's typing this. I get charged and barked on by dogs about 1 out of every 3 encounters. Well, you know, we said dogs can sense.
That kind of says something about him.
We said dogs can detect who's a good person. Well, it's probably because he's screaming all the time. He's barking back at him. When they see you pissing and shitting all over their yard, they get upset, man. The amount of dogs is starting to multiply in the neighborhood like fucking flies. People are so lonely and lacking social. I love how this went from like, okay, he's got some ridiculous grievances, just full on raging halfway through. Lacking social skills that they resolved to owning dogs and treating their desperation. I once had a friend whose girlfriend wanted to get a dog, so I asked him, your girlfriend cannot even manage her own life properly and depends on your salary to survive. How is she going to be able to take care of another dependent? Actually, a fair question. He was furious and told me that it's none of my business to comment on what people want to do. Guess what? She dumped him before the wedding, and she's still with her dog now. I don't think the dog has anything. Take that, you politically correct fucking loser. She took all your money and time, and now you must be proud. I think this was written by the guy from that Trump video that we played at the beginning. This is unhinged. This is crazy. I actually agree with if you can't take care of yourself, you shouldn't get a dog or have kids, by the way. I actually agree with that wholeheartedly. Now, I'm looking at this guy's profile here. And he's got 2 posts. One is on r/Bumble. He's making fun of someone's Bumble account. Shocker, he's single. And then the other one is his cat. So cats are okay.
Dogs aren't.
He says, name my girl. She is too afraid of me, so she only hides in boxes. I wonder why. I wonder why.
He's probably meowing at her all the time.
Hissing at it all the time? I wonder why your cat's afraid of you, guy that screams into his keyboard and apparently gets in dogs' faces and barks at them and wants the right to piss and shit in public as he pleases.
I just want to know what he's doing that 1 in every 3 dogs are barking and freaking out at him.
He's got some issues. Anyway, this is just further proof that Reddit should be nuked for more. But thanks for hanging out with us, guys. It's been a long show. I appreciate it. I know we said it was a slow news week, but man, we really figured out how to drag this one out. Thank you guys so much for listening. Check out all the sponsors down below on the ticker going underneath on the bottom. Tactilian.com, TACTILIAN.com, promo code BASED, BASED. Like the title of the show, going to save you 15% off your order on gifts for the Patriot in your life. Tactilian.com, TACTILIAN.com, promo code BASED, BASED. Like the title of the show, going to save you 15% off your order. Also, follow my socials. Caleb Isn't Funny on Twitter and Instagram. Caleb Salvatore Comedy on TikTok. Caleb Salvatore on YouTube and Rumble. And then Caleb at CalebSalvatoreComedy.com. If you want to get a hold of me, you got something you want to send to the show, hit me up. And then I have my website, Caleb Salvatore, and CalebSalvatoreComedy.com. I accidentally bought the rights to both domains. I don't know how that happened. We appreciate you guys so much. We will see you on Monday for the unsolicited advice segment. We're going to be giving advice to people that maybe that bark at their dogs and want to shit and piss all over the place. Anyway, that's been our show. Cheat on your taxes, not your spouse. Mia, hit him with the closing line.
Stay based.
Stay based.